Hi everybody, and welcome to Q&A Wednesday, where I answer the questions that you ask most about health and fitness. So today we're talking about a really great one. Actually, one of my clients brought this to me. She goes, you should talk about this. And I think I agree, because I find that a lot of people do compare themselves to other people. And it's really kind of ridiculous, because there's a lot of reasons why you shouldn't. Now, I'm going to be the first to tell you that, it's human nature to compare yourselves. It's kind of in our DNA. Way back when, the survival of the fittest, and having to discern whether or not somebody was capable of taking care of our families. And I get it. However, unfortunately, in this day and age, we have a lot of things that cause some just real problems when it comes to reality. So we're going to talk about that today, and why comparing yourself to other people can be really detrimental to your goals, especially your health goals. Hi, Melody. So really great topic today. So thank you to my client who brought that up. I thought it was a great one. So let's talk about it. Here's the first thing. Now, fortunately for me, one of the benefits of being in my 40s is I really don't care what other people think, to an extent. Now, I do care that my clients and the people, I'm a people person. Hi, Sean. That I care about people in general. As a matter of fact, I tend to love people until they prove to me I shouldn't. And unfortunately, I've had that happen a couple of times. But in general, that's why I'm on here. I want to make a difference. I want people to be healthy and happy, and that's why I love people. However, other than that, I really don't care what other people think. I've kind of gotten to that point in my life where I know myself, I know my strengths, I know my weaknesses. I'm pretty happy with all of that. And here's the go-to thought about that is, I want to be different. I don't want to be like anybody else. Melody, yes, I can see the things that you type on there, and it just pops up in a little scroll. So yeah, I can totally see you guys. I can't see you. No, that would be a little creepy at this point. Cameras do weird things. I personally choose to be a little bit different. I tell people, I'm a huge nerd. I'm an introvert. I'm totally okay with that. I've really gotten to the point in my life where I'm really happy with who I am. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't work to be better at some things. I love to learn, and so hence the reason I'm back in school, which, by the way, just finished my first term and I passed. Pretty excited about that. I have a ways to go, but kind of really strange going back to school at 44, but it's okay. It's all good. All right, so let's talk about this. Like I said, it's human design to want to compare ourselves. And I think to an extent that can be an okay thing, especially maybe you see some quality in someone that you really admire. That's great. And if you want to work on that, and that's something that you really are willing to take on and do some self-improvement, that's great. But what I find is that most people are comparing themselves to some really unrealistic things. And let's talk about that a little bit. Number one, why you shouldn't compare yourself to other people. First of all, we all have different DNA. Like, we just do. I'm never going to be 6 foot. Not that I really need to be, but 5'2.5" is a little short. I'm okay with that at this point in life. I can wear heels. But there's some things you can't change. And in this day and age, there's a lot of things you can change. I find it a little bizarre, but it is what it is. But there's some things you just can't change. So, you might not be able to change your height, but there's some things that you can. But don't compare yourself to somebody who's just completely different. One of the really crazy things that I hear a lot is people say, well, I got this diet online from so-and-so because I love the way she looks. Okay, but if she's never, come on, think about it. If I compared myself to some 20-something-year-old thing, I've had 5 babies, I'm short, that's just not realistic, especially at this point in my life. My skin doesn't bounce back the same as it used to. That's just kind of not appropriate to compare myself to somebody who's not my age, doesn't have my background, doesn't have my family history. There's just some things you can't change. So it's really kind of ridiculous to get to the point where you think that is something that's desirable, because it's just not. Work with what you got. Why not? My takeaway thought, if you get nothing out of this tonight, is be the best you that you can possibly be. That's what your goal should be, right? Number 2, the things that are popular and the things that look good and what you think might be amazing, you don't know their background. That's not always what the best option is. I hear people say, well, I just want to make a lot of money. Well, I know a lot of people who have a lot of money that aren't very happy, because either they're reaching for something that's not there. Maybe those people are really great at earning money, but they're not really great at relationships, and that they give all their money away just to have a great relationship. So again, you don't know what they're thinking. You don't know what their life is like. Think about things like, okay, remember in the through most of history, you know, models. Remember models when the waif look was in? They looked gaunt and like totally unhealthy. Like, who wants to look like that? Skinny, first of all, I don't even like the word skinny. Skinny is a 4-letter word. It's not attractive. Don't you ever call me skinny. I might punch you in the face. Now, lean, you can call me lean. I get to that point. It's a choice. It's temporary. It's usually for a photo shoot or something. But, you know, that's not always the best option. Just because that might be popular. Come on, eating Tide Pods was popular. Who the hell came up with that garbage? I don't know. For some odd reason, America is losing their common sense, like in droves. I don't get it, but whatever. Also things, you know, I get a lot of my clients that will compare themselves to, you know, girls that they see on Instagram who have abs and are super lean. And I'm like, okay, but you know, those girls that are getting on stage right now, they're lean for 2 seconds. They're lean to get on stage. Give them 2 weeks. They're going to drink a bunch of alcohol, eat a bunch of crap, and you're not going to be able to see their abs anymore. So again, it's really unrealistic, and it's not always the best option to compare ourselves. And, you know, and on top of that, a lot of what you see on social media, guys, remember, filters. I don't really know how to use half that garbage, so most of what I post isn't filtered anyway. But, you know, you're seeing their best angle and, you know, their best pose or whatever. Like, you can't compare yourself to that. So be real. If you've ever seen like a picture of somebody and then seen them in real life and gone, okay, wait, are you even the same person? Like, that's happened to me multiple times. Seeing their picture that's airbrushed, filtered, and then I see them in real life going, okay, you don't even look like the same person. Yeah. So what you see online is just not real. And a lot of times we are comparing their strengths and our weaknesses. You don't see that girl doesn't ever eat and she doesn't ever feel good and can't get out of bed, but she can take a cute picture. Again, we're just reading into things way too far. And that's just not healthy. Not only is that not physically healthy, it's definitely not mentally healthy. So be careful that you're not comparing, you know, your weaknesses and their strengths. Now, there's always something that we can fix. There's always something that we can work on. I get it. But that doesn't, I mean, you still got to be happy with who you are. You know, if you're so unrealistic about what you think you need to be that you can't appreciate your own strengths and what you do and why you're here in the world, that's a pretty sad option, right? And here's the deal. We've got to have a variety of people. We have to have people that love different things and can do different things and are passionate about different topics, because otherwise we'd be in a really, really boring world, right? I was having this conversation with a client today. We talked about, you know, there's got to be, I love animals, but I'm not so passionate that I'm out there picketing, right? Like, that's just not my thing. But there are people who do, and I appreciate that, because otherwise we'd probably be in a situation that would be really not a good thing, right? So keep that in mind. So we talked about we just don't know their reality. We don't know what they're going through. We don't know their demons, right? We all have something in the back of our minds, right? Something that's happened to us, difficulties in our past. There's crazy things. We don't know what they've been through. We don't know that if they're resilient, if, again, maybe they're getting out of bed for 10 minutes a day and posting pictures that make them look super great, but they're so depressed they can't get out of bed the rest of the day. We don't know that. So stop thinking that the grass is greener on the other side, that their lives are better than ours. Here's the cool thing. You get to create your life. That's a pretty amazing thing. And if you think of life as an adventure, wow. I mean, technically you can do anything. I mean, I decided a few months ago, hey, you know what? I've never been to New York. I'm going to go to New York. And I went, and it was amazing. I'm thinking about going on a culinary trip with my daughter to Europe. All I have to do is, well, I got to figure out what time school gets out for me, but I'm going to go on it. So you get to make these amazing things happen in your life, and nothing's going to happen unless you believe you can, and you make the choice, and you actually do something about it. So keep that in mind. I think the other thing is that if you always are comparing yourself to other people and to other things and whatever it is, whether it's looks, whether it's money, whether it's situation, if you always are looking for something better, now that doesn't mean that you can't grow to be better, that you can't have some sort of self-improvement, because if you ever think that you know enough, that you have nowhere left to grow, probably have a problem at that point, right? You know, that's a little bit arrogant, first of all, which I don't find super attractive. But also, I mean, we can always improve, but that's not it. If you're always reaching that you're never good enough, that you never, you're always guilty of something. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, stop thinking that if you eat a cookie that you're a bad person. That doesn't equate. Maybe you didn't make a great choice, but eating something does not make you a bad person. I don't know. So keep in mind that if you're always searching to, be better than, be like that person, or be in a situation that's better than your situation, you're never going to fully love who you are, love your life. And I mean, come on. We're here to be happy and healthy and love each other and support each other. So it makes it really difficult if you are never happy with who you are or who you're becoming. So it's just a great thing to think about. So a couple of tips, really it's important that you focus on your strengths, because again, you have strengths that I don't have, right? And even if we have something that's similar, we don't have the same combination. So you are just going to be different than me. And that's okay. As a matter of fact, again, that makes us interesting, right? I have some great clients who love to ride horses. I love them dearly. Not my gig. It's just not. It's just not my thing. But it's so fun to watch them talk about it because they love it. And they get into these crazy conversations. And I feel their excitement and their passion for it. Now, again, I'm passionate about other things. I love to travel. I find nutrition fascinating, hence the reason I'm in school. So, that's a great thing. We have differences, and it's an amazing thing. And you also have to be okay with imperfections. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. In your mind's eye, you might see that somebody's perfect, but again, you don't know what's going on inside. But even for me, again, I'm an introvert. I'm totally okay with that. Now, can I do public speaking? Absolutely. I've had enough practice. I love people. I'm technically an outgoing introvert, which is a thing. But I'm okay with the fact that I don't necessarily like big parties with people I don't know. I'm okay with that by myself. It's all good for me. So final thoughts. All right. It's really important that you become okay with who you are, right? Again, there's always something to work on, but your strengths, be excited to be you. There's definitely, if you wake up every morning, you think, gosh, I really love listening to music and I love to dance. Rock on. That's great. I wish I could dance. I think I can dance. When I'm drunk, I think I can dance, but I'm not really good at it. But I think it's a great thing to be able to do. I love watching shows on TV, like The World of Dance. I'm like, wow, that is definitely a tool I'd love to have. Now, could I go take a dance class? Probably. Is that really on my priority list? Not at the moment. I'll just dance when I'm drunk, I guess, at this point, which doesn't happen very often. But, that's okay. Be who you are. And honestly, why would you want to be like anybody else or everybody else anyway? I just find that really boring and not okay. Honestly, that's... I purposely do things different because I don't want to be like everybody else. And again, I like who I am and I like who I'm becoming. Now, do I have weaknesses? Absolutely 100%. And I also realize that just like everybody else, I am my own worst critic. So sometimes I get in those moods and in those funks, but I've got some coping skills to try and get out of it. So again, some of it's experience. Wisdom is a great word to call it. But yeah, it's not fun to try to be somebody else because number one, you're never going to be them. You're just never going to be them. Just get over it. You really, again, the takeaway is your goal should be to be the best you that you can possibly be. And whether that's dancing, whether that's playing a sport, whether that is computer programming, I'm a total technophobe. Be you, do you. I think it's amazing, right? Hey, if you guys, I have a lot of people popping up here. So if you liked what you saw tonight, or if you have a question, or if you want to contribute, come on, maybe you thought of something that I didn't think of. You're just hearing my view. You're not hearing the whole thing. So feel free to leave a comment below. Please make it positive because that's why we're here. Leave a comment below. If you have a topic or question that you'd like to ask, definitely ask. I get my very best ideas from you. You can also message me directly at Facebook Messenger. I do respond, unless you're creepy. I do respond. Definitely shoot me a message because I love it and I'd love to hear how you're doing. Have an incredible evening, you guys, and until next week, that is Q&A Wednesday. Have a good night.